So are we all caught up on Mandalorian?
Uh,
I mean, Ken isn't at all.
yeah.
Damn you, Ken.
Yeah. I'm reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe to my kids, so I just did like a half an hour of Aslan voice, and it's like low and sonorous. Sonorous? What is the word? Sonorous?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then I have to like switch to being Lucy, who's like, Aslan, where's my dagger? It is over here, my child.
Not too bad.
Hey, you got your dashboard lit up.
Yeah. The right half of it wasn't working until today.
Well, what's important on the right half?
Just the speedometer,
Fuel
shit.
gauge.
Yeah, that stuff.
Don't you just drive by feel anyway? I'm in the flow of traffic. I'm at 2,500 RPMs. I'm probably doing all right.
Shit. You know, I figure whenever the car does blah, 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 and stops, I'm out of gas.
Yeah. My poor car. So I only drive like maybe once a week. And it's
Yeah.
To the other side of the school and then back home. Like I don't
Yeah.
even leave my loop that I'm on. And so like I had to take kids over to school yesterday, and it was like 35 degrees or whatever, and I haven't driven the car in like a month because of like holidays, and they only go to aftercare on Monday, and like there was like Martin Luther King Day, and then we were gone, and like all this stuff, and I start the car and it's like and I'm like, don't do this to me. And it just started up perfectly, but like that 4 seconds of like not starting perfectly, I was like, don't you dare do this to me.
So many of my vehicles have such strange character attached to them. Like, right now, so she got fixed and her dash lights are up and all that other stuff, so I can see stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
The hilarious part is that before I did the fix today, I could turn where the vents were pointing in terms of like I could switch if it was like windshield or feet or whatever. I get her back, doesn't matter what I turn it to, it's just blasting out of the broken centers, like the center parts of it, and I can't change the direction of those vents, so I'm basically standing there like I've got my mouth open in a wind tunnel, just doesn't matter what the hell I do. It's so damn funny to me. She's got personality, man.
So I found out that my soundbar is able to change my voice if I plug a microphone into it. So that's what I was messing around with.
That sounds fun. Soundbars are on sale this week for, it must be for Super Bowl.
Yep.
Well, this one's a gaming soundbar, like it's meant for a computer.
Yeah.
So
No, that's cool.
Go figure. How's it
Best
going,
time
Drew?
of year to buy a TV or sound system is Super Bowl weekend.
Oh, I was gonna get a TV for the playroom. Maybe we should do that.
Yeah, best sales of the year.
Bill, congratulations on your raise.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mr. Smee. Subject matter expert.
Yeah.
Smee.
Pew, pew, pew.
Smee!
So as you guys were speaking, as I came in, it sounded like you were talking about the intricacies of cars and what they teach you. I know nothing about this.
Nope.
Just talking about.
Never have I had an experience with a car that didn't do what I wanted it to
It has personality.
do. Cars with personality.
Yeah.
Name Christine.
Oh, I love that. The blue Taurus.
Yeah. My sister had a friend who had the same 1990 Taurus, and she could start it and then take the key out of the ignition, and the car would just keep going.
Sounds like
And
a
she-
Ford.
Couldn't turn it off again unless she put the key back in and turned it off. And
Sounds
so
like she had a short in the ignition.
that was a fun game they used to play when they'd go out partying.
Yeah.
Ew.
We
Turn
used
it
to play a
on.
game. It was called Will My Car Start? And if it doesn't, do I have the tools to fix it?
It was called Hold the Starter while we hand crank it.
What are those sparks on the road? Oh, that's just the starter bouncing up and down as I drive.
Well,
We
what did you
direct-
tell us? 4. So you said there's 4 bolts holding it in place.
Mhm.
And we watched 3 of the bolts fall off.
Clink, clink, clink. I had to go to the junkyard and get more.
That's a yikes.
Well, he was like, drive behind me and just let me know if you see any sparks below the car. What? That was good. That was after we saw Batman or something, right?
Yeah. I want to see the new Batman so bad.
Well, Robert Pattinson has been bit and turned into a vampire so hard he's now turning into Batman.
Oh, there
You know,
you go.
at least he's turned off the glitter. That's
Maybe that's what the bat signal is. He just he is the bat signal.
Glamour.
So I will die if the Riddler's laugh is.
oh god.
Could you imagine if they did that for the Riddler's laugh,
Oh my
just
God.
to make fun of
That'd be
Twilight?
Michael
Yes, that'd
Sheen
be
and
epic.
special cameo.
So when in the timeline is the movie set? Is it set in the earlier days of Gotham or,
Year
or
one.
later?
It's because the Batman origin story is something we've never seen before. So
That's the one thing that they always do in the Batman movies. I'm like, okay, we get it. Yeah, his parents died. Jesus Christ, have we seen this over and over?
that's what they
I
get for taking a walk down crime alley. I'm just saying. Maybe
Well, you thought because you were the Waynes, like you could walk down Crime Alley and no one's going to touch you because you're.
they call it Wayne privilege. Well, I need Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond is going to be great.
That's what I was hoping.
Dayton, are you okay?
Did I
Yeah, I'm
say
good.
Wayne privilege?
I'm really glad I didn't starve that shit. This tea's got heavy herbal stuff. It's got like ginger and apple cider and
It's out of the sea.
oh. Woo, that was so close. I would have been bleeding out my eyeballs if I had done that.
I want mid-career Batman. Like, he's been grinding for a few years, but he can see that there's still many years left of taking care of Gotham. He's just kind of like,
That's Ben Hooflick.
no. He was, I'm old and bitter from my job. He's Barrick. No, I want I'm still in my prime. I still got it going on, but I got a long grind ahead of me. I want, is basically Batman the Animated Series.
I was gonna say, which Robin do you want?
Yeah, it's like,
'Cause
it's in the Robin.
Batman. The Batman chapters are determined by which orphan he's currently
Tormenting.
raising to
What?
throw into the orphan grinder.
That would actually be kind of cool to do one later on when he had
That'd
the
be
original
Clooney.
Robin had became Nightwing, and you have Robert Drake hasn't been wiped out yet by or was it Robert Todd or whatever the hell his name gets killed by the
Jason
Joker.
Jason Todd.
Jason
Yeah.
Todd.
That would be like a little after Clooney's Batman, because then you have Batgirl and Robin
But, yeah, you have Batgirl before she gets put in a wheelchair.
paralyzed.
So the
Yeah.
funny thing is, Titans on HBO Max.
Oh yeah, that's
really, really great. First 2 seasons are basically either Nightwing or the Bat family saying, "No, Gotham's really that bad," and everyone goes, "Yeah, we know. You keep on telling us." Season 3, they get to Gotham. Didn't you tell us it was this awful?
no wonder he
And then you just
led
have
to
and then you
Jump
have
City.
and you have the Bat family just going,
Jump City.
I'm thinking here as a storyline, the take out Jason Todd and take out Batgirl as one giant movie with the Joker. Like it's him, the Joker winning, and they kind of did that with Heath Ledger, but it was like the Joker won with the villains.
So we're in a predicament in our world.
Yeah. Mood music shifting.
We're
gears
in a
here.
bubble.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call this episode the housing market.
Yeah, we're in the bubble, and it's followed by Ivar leads.
See.
And I think I left a message earlier in the night of Ivar. Oh, yeah, there he is, the big fat kid. It says, come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Come at me, bro.
And then Barrick was showing his dance skills.
Yeah, so right now we literally have demons dying as they hit your shield, or being repulsed as we're just walking through
that's right.
as we're walking into the skeletal forest with bodies piling up behind us.
Around you. You guys
Around us.
Yeah, you're like behind everywhere. You're completely surrounded. By the time you guys get up to that tree line, it's literally a sea of these marionetted zombie-like creatures that are just pulsing against that bubble, and you guys are just pushing through at like a walking pace. At Ivar's
It was
pace.
Dark Shadow that's doing it, right?
Huh?
It was Dark Shadow that had the circle, right?
Dark Knight?
Or Dark Knight. Sorry.
No. Ivar's got the one. He's the one with the true faith that's keeping everybody from being
Oh, it's
slaughtered.
the Truth Faith that was doing it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that like when he did that epic tactics roll, that he said get to Dark Knight, and that he had the bubble.
No.
I misunderstood.
No. He said get to Ivar, and then everybody piled in. Holy thing, yeah.
Oh, Benny.
There's been some interesting memes lately with things like that showing up.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, dude, I love Brendan Fraser, especially in Bedazzled, man. He did such a good job.
God, I loved him in Mummy. That was such a great
I
series.
mean, everyone loved him in Mummy.
The meme that
Goodbye,
was
Benny.
like, so it turns out my sexuality is the cast of Mummy. That's my sexual orientation, the cast of Mummy.
Everyone was hot in that movie.
Yeah.
Emo dip.
Yeah, it was, dude. I love that guy. Arnold Vosloo, man, what a great actor. I like that guy. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, you guys are pushing through a veritable sea of what seems to be the worst possible zombie situation ever, since these strange puppeted creatures are just falling like rain and even landing against some sort of supernatural solid barrier that's being created by Ivar's true faith. I mean, you're actually hearing them smack, and then they're surrounding you at the same time. So you're just gently pushing through the forest. Go ahead, Ken.
So are we... Two questions. Are we still technically in an encounter?
Yes.
Like, okay. And the second question, since we're moving forward, are rounds passing then?
We're just moving forward. You guys are no longer technically in combat. You're just moving in.
The reason I'm
Is your
asking is...
stuff turning off?
Right.
Yeah, so the reason I'm asking is...
You're
like,
still in
when
an
generation-
encounter. You're not fighting, though.
Yeah, so that means that if we've been walking forward, then I've regened all of my health. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have
Oh.
plenty of time to accomplish just that. That's not a problem.
Yeah, so it's good news.
On
I
a
like it.
unrelated, totally related note, I also took damage and have nanobots.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good time for us to heal.
Yeah.
Didn't Mr. Man, the cult, take a ton of damage too?
Oh, he
I
took
read
some.
She felt some pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Colt took damage. Everybody except Ivar took damage.
Yeah.
Good.
Ivar-
This is a good respite then.
Yeah, it was sort of. They went to attack Ivar and discovered they couldn't attack him, and Ivar put two and two together. And now we are literally in a bubble after being trapped here.
Yep. So,
Ivar still has the sword, and he's like, he stopped swinging it, and he's now like using it like a Ouija board kind of thing. He's just pointing it in the direction we need to go.
yeah, Colt is leading the way through the forest to get everybody through it. It's to say that things are unsettling with the constant shuffle of feet, groans, and sometimes shouts and cries, and the scratching against that barrier, and then the sizzle and the smell that comes along with all of that is putting it mildly.
I bet it smells lovely.
Yeah, you know, nothing like having a bunch of like moldy steak thrown onto a grill.
Oh, you mean the demons not being this close to Ivar?
Well, Ivar says, excuse me. Ivar did not have good meal last night. He's a little gaseous. Very sorry. I can roll down the True
Oh my
Faith
God.
window if you'd like.
Oh
The
my god.
Rock looked so young in that gif. Oh my god.
Dude, did you see him whenever he was like younger watching his dad wrestle and stuff? He looks like that, but 11.
Yeah. His show is an interesting show.
Yeah.
So, okay, so just for how long have we been walking?
3 minutes.
You've been walking for 6 to 7 minutes after that first initial contact, and you're neck deep in this wood, which is why you're relying on the Colt and his navigation, because everything is starting to look like everything else. These trees are all pretty much the same height. Most of them appear to be almost alike, or at least damn near cloned compared to each other.
Like lazy dreaming.
In a sense.
It's like copy pasting trees.
In a way, yeah. It's meant as a form of confusion, which would totally work if you guys didn't have some means of actually navigating through it.
Yeah.
So on top of throwing hosts upon hosts upon hosts of enemies, having it be a totally confusing terrain is another problem. But, yeah, so far, you guys are still pushing through. The sense of nearness, as far as Sinclair and the rest of it, is going to get there, but you're going to be on this trek for a bit.
So the huntsman just kind of stops for a second, and I'm gonna do an occult roll.
Okay.
20.
Mm-hmm.
So the occult rolls for this, because Sinclair is technically a part of the cult. The cult is technically a part of Sinclair, and this is Sinclair's dreamscape. As he's navigating, the huntsman just kind of comes up to like, well, if I'm navigating Sinclair's mind, isn't that my mind?
No, this is an entirely independent structure. And it's
All right.
dealt with a singular... So that's the funny thing, is what's the difference between soul and mind? Quite a bit.
Hmm.
You have a fractious soul that got splintered into many. And because of that, they're all autonomous beings. Even though they are technically of the same nature, they became horridly individualized, which means that they each and every one of them carry their own mind. Now,
Okay.
because he's escaped your asylum of a brain, means that he can act of his own accord with little to no consequence except for what he manages to create.
What about the soul connection?
Well, you assume that that's probably why the huntsman can follow at this range, because there's no way he'd be able to do it otherwise. That trail is very strong.
Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
So, huntsman just looks a little disgusted, kind of gets up, just spits on the ground, like had some, just like his thought was trying to get out of his head. And then he just, grumbles and starts marching on, says, ugh, this is why John's so mean. And just leaves it at that.
You're in this horrifying forest situation for close to an hour. It becomes nearly mind-numbing. If you attempt to... There are subtle hills that come through eventually. There are points where the terrain does become a bit more precarious. But it's still the same dark, dank evening with only a bit of a moon showing in the sky, although it doesn't seem to carry a very proper shape. Something about it seems wrong. It's obscured, similar to what you'd get if you were having like a waxing crescent or some other standard stage, but again, something about it is just off. But it's shedding enough light that everything is rather visible. Jeez.
While we're kind of working our way through this dreamscape, if we call last time Ivar was kind of like testing the dreamscape when
Yes.
he was in the previous, Ivar would like to do an occult roll to see if Sinclair, like, is Ivar able to do anything in the driver's seat, in a sense, like any way, like find holes that we could we could exploit with regards to controlling the dreamscape, or is it absolutely controlled by Sinclair?
Well,
Oops, I forgot to add that's a 30. Wait a second. Let me roll that again.
I'm looking at it going like, that don't make no sense, dude.
That's a great roll.
Roll D15. 15.
Boom. 24.
Okay. So, based on what you can tell, control lies solely with the person who has manufactured the scape in which you are actually inhabiting, which is why you need to have Dark Knight present. However, interestingly enough, if you make a bit of an awareness check, something might pique your interest.
Okay.
Is it P-E-A-K or P-E-E-K?
P-I-Q-U-E, actually.
He sees a bottle of booze laying on the ground.
I like it. Really I like it. P-I-Q-U-E.
22.
All right, so you're trying to see if you cannot gain control of the landscape that you're surrounded by. What you happen to notice as you guys are slogging along in this miasma of dead corpses trying to basically eat you is, while you're trying to do that, it becomes a great deal easier to operate your own reality shift. But you notice that the second you do so, because there were small bits of grass and a couple of oddities that showed up on the terrain while you're waving the sword around, which of course is causing this glimmering light, so it's like a flashlight and all this. But you're watching this, but the second the field of your true faith passes by, that shifting just drops completely. It just wilts and becomes back part of that sort of, desolate
So
earth.
is it like it's able to shift within my bubble?
It's able to shift within that 10-foot radius rather easily. With Dark Knight's help and your true faith on, it seems like your reality shift is damn near what its normal potency would be under any other circumstances. The only problem is that it's very much restricted within this 10-foot range. Whatever it might be, either from combination of Dark Knight's influence and your true faith, somehow or another gives you just a little bit of control in a very tight space.
Ivar, as he's kind of, he's holding that sword, but he's really just looking down between his arms. He's like, oh. And he kind of peeks up and he's looking around. Did you notice that? Look right here, between Ivar's arms, down by his legs. Look down here, everybody. And he's looking around, and I have a feeling no one's paying attention to Ivar right now. He's like, look, it's down here, between my legs. Just look, between my legs, right here.
Nice one, Bill.
Ken. So Riv just apparently goes and says, so would you like a chocolate covered pretzel?
He's bored as hell. Walking through this place. She's actually deactivated her powers at this point too, so
yeah, and
she's off.
Ivar is literally like, Riv, do you notice that the grass is greener when it's near Ivar?
By that you mean there is no grass until Ivar.
She looks down and she's like, huh. What does that mean? Should I roll something to see if she actually puts two and two together?
Well, I mean, she's smart enough to put it together, and she's a mystical archaeologist. So, seeing these kinds of interactions would definitely throw it together. If you're really that freaking I mean, you could just roll a basic intelligence and see if you can do that. But
I don't want to roll a 1, so she's just flatlines.
Rib freaks out. Episode 30.
Right.
A few times. I don't need to do that right now.
So
it's well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So we're safe, and Ivar is able to do what he does in this itty bitty space.
Yeah.
Huntsman's like, that's fascinating. I still ain't looking around or down that way.
I wonder
how we engage. Is there a way we can extend his your reach?
No, This is as far as true faith goes for Ivar, but
I
I'm
guess I would go
curious
with Faith.
if Ivar can teleport.
Please don't do that.
Please don't do that.
That was really
Poof!
immediate.
Poof! Like,
Yeah. We're literally inside of
Everyone-
a meat grinder.
Everyone physically on the ground puking.
oh my god. I can't imagine what that would be like. It'd be like watching water after you just suddenly see something very physical just be removed and the water just goes bloosh. Just happens to be zombies in this case.
Ivar appears somewhere else. Look, it totally. Oh.
God damn it, Bill.
Really?
I love that.
Oh.
Well, after this hour has passed and whatever's going on over here, after the hour has passed, there is a break in these trees as you come out. Now, the terrain has a rather dramatic shift from what it was before. You've got still the swarming masses that are trying to get into and after you. They're mindless. They just seem to continue coming no matter what is going on, no matter how many of them perish. They just continue to fry at the edge and then rejoin in. What you're looking at now happens to be something of almost like a massive craterous impact had occurred, but the volume, like the sheer massive size of these fissures that are stretching out, they go as far as the eye can see, both to the left and to the right, and they definitely angle inward. The problem is that these are wide enough that trying to cross them, even with physical means, would be very unlikely. The secondary thing that everyone notices is that there are bridges, many of them. They're all intersecting across these fissures. The problem that comes immediately to mind is the fact that when you are coming out to this point, you come near to the edge of one of these fissures and finally allowing some of these like other creatures to sort of either plummet off into the fissure itself or give some kind of wide berth so you can see. You notice that the bridges are these enormous human-like structures, more or less at the far side, with each one of them their heads buried more at near the forehead point, when their arms outstretched, so they're in this kneeling position, and they're quite large, and they stretch across the entire chasm in and of itself, stretching in a rather unusual and very disturbing kind of way. The scapulas are pulled up towards the back as they are reaching out like this, and it creates this sort of flesh and bone railway that goes all the way across to the other side. From where you can see these these fleshy looking bridges don't have any kind of like body hair or any indication other than that, but you can see from where the mouth and the rest of it, they are living creatures or beings perhaps, or at least they seem to be, as you can see some kind of dark fluid coming out, and you can hear all of the bridges weeping, every last one of them. And to give you an idea as to how wide these are, they are 15 feet across and can stretch more than 50 feet, from one end of the chasm to the other side. So they're a 15-foot wide bridge that goes like 50 to 60 feet, depending on the width of the chasm.
That's terrifying.
Yes, Bill.
At which point the huntsman just kind of cocks his head and says, "And this is why we never let him out." Just matter of fact.
What are these huntsmen?
Oh, they're alive. They're screaming. They're in agony. And you kind of see like a shiver go through him.
Mm-hmm.
But
Is
it's
this
not
like your
it's
anus? Was he
So-
located in your anus?
No. No, but you are a strange one.
Even the DM doesn't understand Ivar's outburst on that one.
So, they're living. Hopefully not a trap. Oh, and what are we going to do about them? And he's just kind of pointing behind him with all the
Yeah.
bodies
The
still
bombardment.
Kinda, just
Like
because
a bug zapper of zombies or whatever. A demon
that
zapper.
this situation is not going to work going across there, I think.
Should we feed the zombies to the weeping bridges of doom?
Well,
Well,
I mean, it can't hurt to throw one on and see what happens.
Well, do you want to go out and grab one and throw it over? Because Ivar really doesn't want to drop True Faith right now.
so you're in between two of the bridges that cross over. There is likely a circular element to this. Like I said, imagine if you could, from a sky down view, just watching the fissures and how they cross over. It's almost like something made this tremendous impact, and you can see that it slowly begins to kind of come down. It will eventually go up because in the farthest distance it does kind of peak upward. But it really looks like this horrendous impact on the earth. When you're looking down over the edge, you can't see the bottom. There is something eerie that's coming up from there. There is something in the shadow moving and coiling and doing something. Everyone can feel that, not just sense it with their hearing or with their own eyesight. There is something down below waiting for other things to collapse into it.
Well, how many fissures are there?
Many. We're talking more than you could probably count, and they don't seem to actually lead. So you can follow the trail, the huntsman can, and you can see it goes to your left, going alongside this first chasm, and then across the bridge. It actually leads in that particular way.
Ivar would like to try something right now because he's kind of looking at this, and he keeps looking at like the ground that is being transformed. And he wants to see if he can manifest almost like a hoverboard of types that he can almost raise the group up on a platform that we will sit on in our bubble and see if he can actually cause it to like
Roll.
levitate its way around.
Put us in a hamster ball.
I mean, I was thinking like a Tensor's floating disc situation, but
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
I like hamster ball. Katamari Damacy rolling through collecting demons all around that.
I'm probably going to date the hell out of myself. I was actually thinking about the same concept as what they had in the Explorers whenever they created that bubble field.
Yeah.
Just boing, like something like that.
Bolt was an interesting movie.
Bolt was an interesting movie.
That is a hard pass. No. Balls on the water.
Chances are you're
Those
not going to be
things are
going somewhere.
And they smell horrible on the inside.
Yeah, probably with all that sweat and polyurethane.
Yeah, they get them at the senior picnic every year.
Ugh.
Oh,
It's,
Ugh.
yeah, I know.
Chili
Yeah,
fruit
that
salad.
Michael J. Fox footage is hilarious.
So yeah, you guys are strategizing. Bridge or Tensor's floating hamster ball?
So why? I mean, besides the creep factor, is there anything about the bridge that was preventing us from moving across?
No, the bridges are
Well-
open, but you guys are basically trying to anticipate possible threats, which is the reason why Ivar's going like, maybe not use bridge, use this instead. Who knows? We'll see how it
Well,
goes.
My concern.
Riv is like, oh, the bridge is there to be used. Let's use it. Like she's just being pragmatic.
Ivar's like,
and
I bring
Huntsman's
the
like,
bridge.
and Huntsman's pretty much going, I can lead us there however you get us there.
Is there any concern that your true faith will somehow dissolve the bridge?
Ivar did not think about that. Ivar would
Let's
like to
get close
bring
to it and
us.
see if it
Let,
touch
yeah,
it.
Ivar would like to move within 5 feet of the bridge and see what happens when he touches his true faith to the
Touch it.
bridge.
Yeah, touch that true faith to the flesh.
Well, the interesting thing is that you end up you get up close to where you can get to that point, right? The true faith kind of ends up going to right at the perimeter, and then you get stuck. Because if you try to push past that, they can't approach you. It's like this wall. And you're like, like you can cause damage to its peripheral, but you can't pass through that bridge because the sheer essence of that bridge is the supernatural, and trying to actually make physical contact, which it won't allow you to do, means you're stuck. You either have to turn the bubble off or find something else.
Well, hamster wheel it is.
Huh. Ivar can't move forward. He's stuck.
Well, then there's your answer.
So should I turn True Faith off?
How have you folks lived this long? Just curious. I mean, I try not to pay attention to the usurpers folk.
Ivar's already died like 3 times. This is like standard stuff for him now. Pretty normal.
All right, so we
Very liberating.
create a barrier using your reality shift. Can we create the barrier that extends beyond the true faith?
I don't know, but I'm surmising that the reason my reality shift work is because bubble allows me protection. If bubble goes, reality shift probably goes. So if we want reality shift, like super cool car to drive us over this, like an airplane, thing like that, True Faith stays up. But when I walk forward, and Ivar walks forward, and you just see his face, like, hit an invisible glass wall, and he's like, this is what happens.
Can you build a structure that goes over the bridge?
You know what I like about this conversation? These things are still smashing up against this thing and trying to get everybody, and it's like you're having this sort of company meeting while these things are just like beating again. Yeah.
Well, I mean, after an hour, it becomes kind of just remote.
Yeah.
I have a question, D.
Yes.
So Riv is sitting there and she just activates her rune because that's what she does. Can I actually activate teleport? Can I just grab everyone and just teleport them across? Because it's within line of sight, isn't it?
God.
Yes, but I don't recall if you can take more than one person with you or what, or if it's physical contact. I don't think, because that's the only question.
All I wrote down was it allows for teleportation 3 times per encounter, line of sight within around 500 feet.
Okay, let's see what the dice have to say about it, because I think you've transported goods, items, the rest of it. I don't know that you've ever tried to transport a person.
I think we've talked about it, but we never tried it.
Yeah.
Ivar looks over. You can transport yourself? That's very
You've
good.
seen me teleport.
I mean, I don't have to consult with any of the others. I think I like Ivar's plan better. And he's just looking leerily at Riv. It's not that I don't trust you.
Well, so at this point, if you let Dark Knight know, he might be able to reinforce it because he's got the same capacity. He just can't leave you guys because it leaves you at the mercy of this nightmarescape. And
could Ivar? What would Ivar have to roll? Is this
Did you guys like Wonder Twin powers? Your reality shift plus.
That's what I'm wondering.
Walking
is Ivar's like? I wonder, could we join all of our powers and amp up your teleportation to allow it to take whole group at once?
I mean, I could do it 3 tries, so.
Okay, the fox first, and then the grain, and then the fox back,
and then the scorpion,
then the chicken, then the
A 26 on a Colt from Ivar on this idea of can we, in a sense, join our powers using Colt as well to basically amplify this to take all of us in one fell swoop.
I'm game. I like it better than trying to build something or whatever relies on reality shift working up past however long this bridge is.
Okay, and you guys are coming up with this crazy idea, and Dark Knight's just like, okay, I'll just try my level best to make sure that if something goes wrong, I might be able to help course correct. Just let's all be in physical contact, or otherwise it won't work so well.
Huddle up.
You're touching Ivar?
28 tactics.
Okay.
So
That's a good idea.
So 28 tactics for the huntsman. Oh, huntsman doesn't care. It's amusing him more than anything else. the tactics was him looking at the trail and tracking. Does that if he were to switch to John, is it just pretty much dead center where we're probably going? If he takes a look at the trail and just kind of makes a determination.
Well, it's heading in a very definitive direction. Whether it's the center is sort of unknown because you can't get the full picture from where you're standing as to whether or not it's actually a center or if it's an oblong or any other kind of shape. But your estimation is that it does seem like it's heading more towards the inner part of it, which would make sense.
Okay. Well, it says, well, I mean, my job's technically done. Go that way. And he just points. And as he points and looks that way, you just see him shudder, and it's like, John, why the fuck am I pointing this way? Fucking
Second
assholes.
Start to the right, straight on till morning.
What are we doing? Oh, wait, give me a second. His eyes kind of roll back up. Oh, really? You couldn't have fucking told me that earlier? He says, oh, okay, so we need a power boost.
Yeah, Mr. Constantine, if you could take care of this hellscape, that would be quite wonderful.
He's still smoking at the collar,
Yeah.
by the way. Like,
Yeah.
Just constantly.
he says, yes, the sooner I don't have to deal with this, the better. And you just kind of hear him getting more irritated.
Well, I'm ready whenever the rest of you are, so let's give it a shot, I suppose.
Do I need to roll anything to try this out?
Yeah, well, so your teleport, because you're not dealing with standard physics, I'm going to definitely need that will check, because you're basically trying to move in a space that is controlled in its entirety.
Am I just dead weight?
You're just along for the ride.
And Howard Drew and I boosting him.
You will just roll your relative checks. So Ivar will, because he's within bubble, will roll on his normal reality shift to kind of reinforce or basically endow her with magical energy to kind of give it a little bit of oomph. And then same thing with the occult on cult side.
You
of
want
it.
Ivar to give Riv oomph.
Well, specifically, your successes are her successes.
Oomph. Double up. Oomph. Oomph.
Yes.
That's how oomph works.
What's my target, D? I guess you
It's
should wait and see what they're boosting me to, right?
well, in this case, it's going to be target 9 for everybody.
Oh, okay. Well, should I? Okay.
Yeah, you just roll. You're the center point. Whatever successes they manage to acquire, you get to add as an additional to your own check. It just basically pools together. You guys are just rolling together in a sympathetic way.
All right. So I'm going to use some luck. Did our luck reset from last time?
Are you... Huh?
No,
No.
it shouldn't.
Nope.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We're still playing it on hard mode, gents.
I'm gonna boost up. I'm gonna boost up 2, so I'm gonna use 2 luck. I'm gonna
Okay.
get rid of the 1, and I'm gonna make the 8 a 9.
Where did you end up rolling that?
In the Night City.
I'm looking right
The
at it.
place
Oh,
where-
it's just my own derpy ass. I wasn't at the bottom.
Oh. I was like, wait, did I do something wrong?
10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1, 2.
So I used
Alright.
2 luck, and now I have 2 successes.
All right, 2 successes. Let's go ahead, Drew. Why don't you
A
power
quick
up?
question here before I send Ivar. Will his entropy charm pendant, the will save to prevent paradox, +1 success, be applicable to this situation?
It's applicable in the sense that if you were rolling for yourself, it's not going to transfer over to her.
Okay.
So you just got to make sure you roll it like normal without having the additional in that sense. Because it's not in direct effect of you. You're supporting someone else.
Gotcha. Okay.
We got
Target
2
9?
successes. Yeah, 2 successes. What is next? Wow. The dicer plan is super sketchy.
Okay, so Ivar is going to. He's at. He hasn't spent any of it. I have 9, but I'm not lucky. So
Cost 2 to boost a number.
yeah, I think we're gonna boost those 2 1s up.
Okay, so that's 2 more successes.
And then I'm rolling my will, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
You're
so-
going to roll your will or your occult like prime or whatever works. Because you're basically
Well,
using
it's-
your magical skill to try and give her an amp.
Okay, so I'm going to be actually using my Arete.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm getting the magical enema.
This is NC-17 for the horror factor, not pornographic.
But so if you get a magical enema, then it comes back out. So.
And that's another 2 degrees.
Oh, that's the
God damn.
teleport.
Well, I will have to say that this is fairly lucky because each success covers for everybody who's in this particular group. So,
That would suck if we left someone behind.
well, and that's kind of how the teleports work when you're trying to transport more than one.
Yourselves.
Yeah. Which is why Dark Knight was kind of going like, if they fuck this up, I'm going to basically be like, okay, hold on! Like,
Yeah.
all right.
Cool.
So we all get to see sort of what it's like whenever Riv does her thing. She gets a little bit of an overamp. You're standing on one side, and then it's just kind of this odd sort of like your stomach shifts, you know, when you're in a car and you hit that low slump when you're going down a hill. It's kind of like that feeling, but you're feeling it pushing forward, like the inertia moves in that direction with intent, and then just suddenly stops, but you don't actually suffer any real G-force from that. So it's a little like, And then
Does Riv like go anywhere else when she teleports? Is like one of the things I loved in 4th edition D&D was that like the teleport was actually you like stepped into the Feywild and then like ran and like stepped about like into the fairy realm and would like run forward and then step out, but it would look like you teleported. Does Riv like hop into New Jersey and then like a cab 200 feet and then like hops out on the other end?
yeah, no, nothing quite like that. It's rather instantaneous, somewhat boring, but like I said, you still feel that inertial hit. What isn't so great is that the second you actually touch the other side, you can hear the screeching screams and the rest of it from all of those, you know, corrupted marionette puppet type things as they start funneling towards the other side of the bridge. The problem with that is that the bridge now goes from its low, like, weeping sound to this extraordinary moan and then a shriek. Something from within that ravine is reacting, and it pulls itself out of the one side of opposite now from where you guys are standing, but it pulls itself up, and you can see it's extremely stretched and unusual and very, very twisted body pulling up from its original position, but not before these incredible Stygian chains start erupting from those fissures, spearing into all parts of its flesh and then rending it completely, leaving that bridge nothing more than basically a pair of twitching legs on the one side that you guys are on, the rest of it just falling into it, and you can hear what sounds to be like consumption, almost like feasting in the lower parts of it, but you still have no idea what's down there.
I'm gonna look at Colt and it's like, is that you?
This is why we don't let him out. And then he just starts walking the other.
Well, is there a second bridge we have to cross?
There are many. You're looking at tens, maybe 20 bridges, who knows, but they are stretching inward in this very same fashion, all very similarly designed. And it seems that when you cross them, the pathway back is disrupted.
Are the zombies still chasing us down?
Well, they're going to try, but they're on the other side of the fissure, which is about the only benefit to what just happened.
So like we don't
run?
hear the off the
Well,
troop
you can't because they're not smashing up against your barrier. They're stuck on the other side.
What are they doing right now? Ivor wants to just do a general awareness check on, specifically on looking at the zombies. Like, are they going around? Are they just going in?
Well, they are sort of manic at this point. They can't cross the bridge, and those who are at the very edge perimeter are just falling into the chasm below for the most part. And so it's just basically this trickling waterfall, like zombie lemmings just going down.
Yeah, but we wanted to know what was going on when they went down with a 25 awareness. Does Ivar notice anything particular about their lemming nature?
Nope. They just seem to be fanatical and ravenous to try and capture you, just like that, basically. With a little more resistance, they're not exactly just running off the edge, but yes. Rather accurate. Yeah, there's nothing critical to it. It's just mindless mania trying to push them and basically defeat or eat or kill or whatever it is that their orders are.
I love Lemmings. That was such a fun game.
Yeah, I used to play hours of it.
So you got to think of what was the first challenge supposed to do for us? What would a fucked up mind do? Oh, wear us down so that we're weak. But thanks to Ivar's crazy bullshit, and he just kind of clears his collar, a little bit more smoke puffs up.
You can turn that off now, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sure now the flying ones will come in, right?
Right?
Where's our SAM sites?
Is we've seen what the bridges can do. Do we run fast?
What's Ivar's danger sense doing right now? Is it off
Oh,
the
it's
chart?
hovering at that comfortable 3 stars out of 4 for constantly being in threat. That's basically what it is.
It just leaves a little room because there's always something more.
Yeah.
So it never actually redlined.
So Riv is gonna just start running across the bridge.
So she's gonna like zigzag her way over. She's got
to
to
have a teleport, right?
yeah, she does.
I
So
see more teleports, and that's she's planning on using that just in case, like what Colt just said. Like, what's gonna happen if we try crossing the bridge? It's like, well, I can just try and see what happens.
all right. So more importantly, these bridges are not in straight parallel lines, mind you. So each chasm they're staggered across in oblong and strange ways. So you have to divert in some direction, then cross a bridge. So you're
it's
having
far
to like
enough.
zigzag whenever you're trying to get through all this. So you're trying to
thought it
test
was
out what's
right.
going to happen with the bridge then, huh?
I can. I'm just gonna start trucking out there. Since there's nothing attacking us, I don't need to be in the Truth Faith bubble anymore. But I can
All
always
right.
teleport back because I've got 2 more left.
Riv steps outside the bubble. Riv dies. End of story. Moving on.
Yeah, everybody was protected by the supernatural mustard gas that was invisible to the human eye, because I'm that much of a dick. Okay.
All right, so
She goes... oh my god.
Serpentine!
These fucking GIFs, man. Let's see. Please don't be crazy. Alright, cool. It's not crazy. Alright. So, okay,
That
Riv.
perfect form too. The perfect
Yep.
form for that video you posted, Scott. The
Yeah. You gotta admit, man, Tom Hanks has got a hell of a lot of a really good running form, really. Like, he's doing that nice straightforward back motion, his hips are moving, he's not doing any wasted energy.
Daphne the Terminator.
Yeah. So you go sprinting across. Now, the second your foot touches at the head of the bridge, literally, because you're coming across like the bald scalp of the entity that is like partially buried on this side of the chasm, you can hear it respond, and there's a shudder, which immediately makes your body do this whole like ugh, like that, because it responds to your contact the moment that it happens. I need a combat sense awareness once you're about 3 paces in.
Okay. All right. Skills. It's not bad.
Not bad at all. Alright, so there are a multitude of various things that start to happen. You're crossing this point, you're coming across the back of its head, going down the neckline, hitting the shoulder point, and the second you get down to where, because you're starting to feel like the tension just rise as you're making yourself across. When you get to about the point where the scapulas themselves are like protruding upward like so, they basically begin to shudder and move, and you realize that there is a massive trap invested with these bridges. The things that you see, because I'm assuming what you're going to do is going to be like, nope, and just do the teleport back once you see that action happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that would be my first reaction.
Yep.
The first sign of something fucky.
Yeah, they snap down with incredible force. The other problem is that there are several points up and along this stretched out rib cage showing far many more ribs than there ever should be in the human body, ever. Given the fact that they're spaced maybe about a foot apart. But you see these breakages that start to occur across the upper part of that flesh, the flesh-covered top. These are cadaverous as well, because they don't have like that pink coloring at all. They're very much that gray, white, almost glossy, like sort of, cadaverous type images. And these things start to burst forth from out of those like various sections of the ribs, and so it basically creates this blockage, and you get the hell out. That snaps, and once again, as you guys are coming across, love Attack on Titan. As you're snapping back and getting your vision to settle again, you still see, since the moment you leave that bridge, again, those same massive Stygian chains erupt from out of that chasm, bursting straight through it and causing it to collapse inward onto itself. But this one, far more grisly, as it just goes upward, collapses the spine, causing it to split in two and shatter like this, leaving the strange bridge entity to sit there and hang before, finally they start inserting into the open cavity at its waist, and then causing it to be, ripped up from inside and pulled down.
Gross.
I don't think we can walk across the bridge.
Yeah.
No.
And now we know.
What was your first clue?
So,
Option 1, where he points to the first chasm, or option fucking 2.
Good thing we got more bridges.
Yes, there are still
Yes,
some
but-
that would allow you to cross at this point.
I don't know if we have the strength to be able to keep teleporting. Perhaps we should make our own form of transportation.
What are you thinking, Ivar?
Make a car.
Dark Knight's just kind
Yeah,
of
like
watching
Warfare
this whole thing going this is probably one of the worst nightmare escapes I've been in.
That's what Ivar's thinking.
I mean, I'm not opposed.
That'd be great to have an ATV. Yeah.
Something that doesn't need to touch the ground.
I don't want to touch.
Hope, Barrick, what do you think? Perhaps I should manifest us a form of transportation that is big enough to fit 10 people and is strong enough to fly us around this hellhole while keeping us inside the True Faith bubble?
I mean, that.
And you can meet Jane, my wife.
Yeah, it seems
I
like
don't-
a lot.
I don't think you need your True Faith bubble right now. Nothing's attacking us. Why would you keep that up? And look at, and she points to Colt. He's kind of hot under the collar here.
Ivar's danger sense is higher than normal. There's
Look
things that
around.
want
I think
to
we
eat
can all see
Ivar.
that.
Ivar keeps it up till Ivar feels it needs to go. Because these zombies, we know what they're really after. And Ivar opens his robe and pulls out a bottle of vodka.
Oh, okay.
Like,
And
ah!
starts drinking, and he goes,
Oh.
they want the good stuff.
That was Riv's reaction. It's like, ah! Oh.
And Colt's looking upwards going, and I never want to hear the Rise and Ivar again. In the same sentence.
Ivar,
Yeah, I feel like I'm, useless here. So,
well, you've dealt with crazy zombies and manic druggies before and cadavers. What do you normally do with them?
I arrest them.
Oh, don't worry. We'll give you plenty of options to kill them.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Steve's back.
I don't have enough bullets.
Ivar's doing a tactics roll.
Okay, question being?
Can
Wow.
he...
I was referring to
Well,
Ken, sorry.
Yeah, let Ken go first.
I actually want to. I want to do. I don't know if tactics. I'm not trying to ask the DM. I want to see if looking at this is 2 times now that these bridges have acted alive-ish. There's viscera and stuff getting
Yes.
killed, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Riv has an idea because when Barrick started talking about it's like, what can I do? And it's like, 2 taps to the head, the head thing. What if we try killing it before we cross? Because maybe the trap part of it. So she's trying to think of a way of
You want me to kill the bridge?
Yeah, well, so there's plenty of bridges we could try. Is there anything that I could roll to give the credence to that idea, or is that just stupid?
I'm sitting here going damn, that's a fucking interesting thought.
I mean,
It's worth checking.
Why not?
I just see this scene where it's like, Barrick, do you think you could use your gun to shoot something? And Barrick all of a sudden is like cleaning his gun with this big grin.
You
And he's
ever fire
he's
your
go-
gun into the air while screaming?
and he's
Ah!
cleaning his gun like that, and he's going, "I'm gonna fuck it to death with bullets."
Didn't know when he became a fucking crazy man, but okay. So yeah, let's. What if the traps are based on these things being alive?
Let's find out. There's only one way to tell.
Or it's based on them being dead.
Well, we got options.
Okay, so you find one of the other bridges across the way. You have to walk the opposite direction. So you're moving to the right from where you had originally came across. And, because you went and took the left side and took that bridge there. So you find the other one that goes across. You get up close to where the cranium is. Now, of course, Barrick, you know exactly where to hit this thing. There's that space that's at the back of the skull, right where the brainstem
ridge.
connects to the brain. And you just go, and you disconnect the computer.
Huh.
What happened?
All right.
And then he's just gonna he has got an empty magazine, and he's just gonna toss it out, and see if he springs a mousetrap sort of situation.
All right, so what weapon were you using to drill this thing? I'm just curious.
Oh, I am using the blunderbuster
The
because I've got
The
slugs. The slugs, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got the slugs.
It's going to be like...
There's gonna be nothing left, just a crater.
Well, I mean, actually, when he fires this thing off and he hits that particular location, it does leave a hole the size of a watermelon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's...
gross.
Yes. And he's like... it just comes up at that point. So... Anyway, but if it's possible, the bridge after that initial strike happens to go slack, and you don't hear any sound coming from it. And if it's anything to be to be creeped out by, you can actually see the musculature relax as death overtakes.
Huh. All right, how many more bridges we got?
Does it fall into the fissure then? Because it's not holding.
You guys
it
are
up?
waiting. Nothing.
I mean, I've got one more teleport, so I'll just fucking truck
Go
across.
go. Hey Riv, go give try real fast. I was not so certain.
So the sinew is now it's not muscle tension. It's
Right. There's nothing. Yeah.
Rigor mortis.
She's actually, I will say that she's not gonna just truck right across.
Poor Scott, man. I'm gonna give this poor guy nightmares.
This
Yeah,
is
maybe she should do a sanity check soon.
that was a cool check.
Yeah.
So
At least you're
16.
cool 10.
You're still keeping it together.
Well, that's
Riv is actually gonna walk slowly across. She's not
Yeah.
trucking.
he's
She's
just
like-
locked his teeth in place so that
Yeah.
the vomit doesn't spray out. He's just
Like just
swallowing it down.
recirculate that.
yeah.
Hit the recycle button.
Barrick is now going to be the one who's coined the phrase recursive verping.
Yes. Oof.
Well-
It's got charcoal briquettes to chew on to keep the yips at bay.
Oh my god.
I
Oh,
just
wait.
saw this gift. What's the one that that just resurfaced again? The dog farts and then the cat yaks and
Yeah, I've seen that one. It's like full on out.
all right, Riv.
So, yeah.
I think I killed the bridge. Never thought I'd say that.
Well, let's see if it kills him
But,
her first.
Okay.
I'm trucking across. Let's see what
Yeah.
happens.
So, you go moving across, and, your hard-soled boots are hitting against, bone and flesh, so it's like you're walking on a person. That sound is very disconcerting. So you're going clack, clack, clack. It's basically, it's not a clack and not a slap. It's both. So you're just kind of moving across that way. You don't get the same sense of, reaction out of it whenever you had first attempted this. And when you get across, there doesn't seem to be any kind of reaction from below, which is good.
You guys are kind of
So-
not a thumbs up, it's just like, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna quick short story time. I may have told this story before. When I was like 10, we were at the beach, Point Reyes, beautiful beach in the area, known for its sea lions, gorgeous lighthouse, everything like that. We're out on the beach, and I see this huge sand hill, and I run and I jump and I like sink super deep into it, and I climb out and I see another one and I go and do the same thing, sink super deep into it. Then I see a third one and I go run and I jump onto it, and the ground goes. It was a dead sea lion that had gotten covered over by the beach and had started to rot. And when I hit that, I did not break through or anything like that.
Oh,
But when
thank
I
goodness.
hit it, it like rippled like with the blubber and the muscle and the bones and everything like that. And I instantly, like, my knees buckled and I like went fetal position into the sand and was like dry heaving because I had never
How old were
experienced
you?
anything like. Well, I was like 10, 12, something like that. I never
So-
experienced anything like that. So
I'm 40.
that
I've never experienced
is
anything like that.
playing through my brain as we're going across these bridges that's what that bridge feels like.
So good,
It's just like,
good job, D. You have
oh,
resurfaced childhood
you
trauma.
reactivated. I'm like, I've got
Activate
like,
neurons.
I'm gonna like eyedropper into my nose to like get the menthol vapor so I'm not thinking about it.
So
It was a
welcome,
very long drive home that I was
So,
just like,
viewers. We would like to thank you as D took us through this journey through the psyche of Scott's childhood trauma.
oh my god. That's when you're like describing and like it shuddered and like went slack. I'm like, I know what that felt like.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So apparently, I win. I get a golden dick award for having
So-
excellent descriptive points. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll give it to you.
Jesus. I'm so glad you didn't break through. I would have felt so much worse.
Oh my god, so would I.
Yeah. Or like having it explode
go.
out the side or something. Yeah.
Here's your golden dick award. I made that emoji special for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
That's priceless. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I don't think this game system has pity points, but I am like really wanting to like give you a couple. It's like, here you go. Sorry about that.
It's like a waterbed that was like thick and had bones underneath.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, anyway, let's
I'm
talk
very
about
glad
the
that the bridge
waterbed.
here is not quite so gelatinous.
The
And the
flesh waterbed.
smell. Oh, the
Yeah.
smell.
The smell is definitely what would probably topple you over pretty fast.
Yeah.
we all laugh at your childhood trauma. times.
Wowzers. Okay, that was
Welcome to Shadows.
fucking hard right turn
Welcome to
right there.
So, yes, going across the lovely Bridge of Death.
All right.
I'd say one at a time. Let's try one at a time.
Yeah. So you guys managed to cross, regardless of order or attempt. It doesn't really make a difference. You guys all managed to cross without incident, and it manages to pull through.
Nice.
And I gotta say, man, that was one hell of a thought process going through your head, dude. Like the one thing I'm sitting there going like, I don't know, and then you're like, it's like, yeah, that might work.
You gave me two patterns, or two pieces in my pattern recognition system.
Yes. Your octopus brain is moving at full capacity. So, yeah, you managed to do this. Now, let's talk rounds. How many rounds of these massive slugs have you got there, Barrick?
Oh, plenty.
Good. I think you had
I
78
am-
now, or whatever that was.
I'm down to 69.
Perfect.
Well, that-
Strangely
Congratulations.
synchronous.
I had 70, and then I killed that bridge, and now I have 69.
Well,
Congrats.
hilariously enough, I was doing my Oracle rolls to see exactly how effective that was going to be. I got a 69, which is the Oracle roll, which is why it worked. So, strange. Funny that. Let's see here. How many more have you guys got to go? Alright. There are another 9 bridges you have to clear in this particular fashion. Each and every time it is just as disconcerting. And it's not like the zombie wave ocean, whatever. Every single time you pass over one of the corpse bridges, you still feel like there is something inside that fissure waiting for something.
Oh yeah.
And when you're standing dead center, it's like it's almost as if the entity's like awareness is directly on you for whatever reason, causing you to kind of move a little faster. But you meant
I feel like she's saying this out loud to the group. It's like I feel like we're on spider silk, for lack of a better word. Like maybe whenever the vibration of the trap kind of got felt, or something disturbed it, those little the cult spikes come out.
it is
He
strange that
doesn't know
this
to
is
call them Stygian, but
right.
the cult
It
spikes.
is, yeah. It's odd that this is working. However, whenever we crossed the very first time, it was torn apart, even though we never even came close to that bridge. It still
Did
leaves
the
me
creatures
with
try to cross it?
But creatures were on it.
possibly.
Huh? It actually fights its own. Like
Well,
there's
if-
desperate systems going
If
on
it's
here.
a pressure-sensitive trap and the trap is dead and can't feel the pressure,
Under pressure.
And as far as I'm concerned, these are mercy killings. Whatever's happened to them.
I do not. This is horrifying. As she's like, she
Yeah.
has a little like, a little verp too.
and then you just see John just sitting there going, yeah, that's why we don't let him out. It's Germany all over again.
When you
What?
finally cross those 9 bridges, there is something pseudo-familiar as you're coming across this cracked earth that is vastly oversized. And sure enough, that whole spider silk analogy is kind of accurate because the slope of the terrain starts to go ever upward and becomes more jagged and a bit precarious. When you finally clear that peak, you look back and it does look like some sort of vastly disturbing kind of spider web, with the fissures going around in one part of the pattern and these bridges crossing at other intersections, creating web-like structures in a circular way. It's very much kind of like that. It would have come across that way easily.
Question.
Yes.
We are now in the I'm referring to as the second tier of Sinclair's
Yes.
hellscape.
Cavalcade of horror.
Yep. And we were discussing how as the cult goes deeper, he's going to be affected. So now that we're on the second level, how is this affecting the cult?
You feel something. You feel something inside, and it's one part familiar, but also something hidden. Think about it in the sense that you're more or less suddenly confronting something very personal, and it's like you're struggling to remember what that is, and you're having a hard time, and at the same exact moment, you're not wanting to remember. You don't want to come across whatever this is, but you're nearing to this point. And like I said, you reach the crest, everybody's looking back, you see the hordes of the marionettes at the very great distance out, and you guys have crossed, and some of the bridges were a lot longer than just 60 feet, by the way. Some of them were like upwards of 200. So you've got lots of, and you had to zigzag your way through, so there was a lot of territory that was covered. So looking at that, the vast stretch of it. There is just so much going on, and then when you look inward towards where you're supposed to be following, there is something else that seems to be somewhat reminiscent. But you're catching trenches, barbed wire, and all kinds of those like hex beam. I don't know what you'd call them. They're obstructions, but they're basically jagged and in various. They basically look like a metal asterisk, is what it is, and they stretch approximately 4 and 5 feet in diameter, but they're constructed of metal and very sharp edges, just like pretty much everything else around here. When you start to look across this, there is something in the very far distance of faint illumination, like you're looking at a small little cottage on a hill that is showing some light through mist. And that feels like your destination, but you have hundreds of yards of whatever this strange battle zone seems to be before you can reach it.
I feel like this is what we're going into.
Yeah, it's kind of a D-Day remnant, yeah. Which is why Colt is going to be looking at this and feeling vaguely, horrifyingly sentimental.
Oh, good. At least it's not aroused.
Yes, he's feeling vaguely aroused at the strange militaristic war scene.
He really likes World War II.
That's when the general comes out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not a euphemism.
God damn it, Ryan Stiles.
That's funny.
So the Colt's is kind of looking and he's going, ugh. Well, this is not going to be fun. So as he's looking at the, so within this kind of D-Day scenario, are we, actually I think I'll just do an awareness roll.
Sounds good.
So he doesn't want to start running into trench lines that are active. 21.
All right. Well, taking in your surroundings, the first most immediate trenches definitely aren't a problem, but your suspicion, most certainly, is that any of the barbed or razor wire or any part of that is literally going to make its way to try and attack you, that's for certain. And there are rolls and stakes and all kinds of, it's a labyrinthian in its construction. And it's going to be a very difficult state of crossing because the trenches here are numerous, and the various areas in which you can stand at the high levels are precarious or lethal in their construction. The other problem is that you're also getting movement, a lot of movement. There seems to be movement at the center and filtrating in our direction.
26 tactics, and at this point John shimmered out and it is actually the general smoking a cigar.
Alright, well, this seems to be something of a recreation, which is of interest only because of the fact that this is like a memory that's been reconstructed in a sense, but heavily twisted. Tactically speaking, you guys are at a serious disadvantage. Your ability to cross terrain is extraordinarily slow, and you're going to have to stick with Ivar no matter what's going on. So he might have to try and find ways to reality shift between trenches to kind of break things apart and make your pathway much less obstructed. The other element too that is also fascinating is that whatever these forces are, they're not carrying your stereotypical supernatural weaponry. There seems to be live firearms that are being filtered through, but the soldiers are not what you might expect. They seem to be very much cadaverous and like the marionettes used to be, but they're not as mindless. In fact, there's a good chance that the majority of these individuals that are now pouring forth into the trenches, coming across and taking positions, they're probably assimilated or Cenobitic.
Oh, fun.
Why did you keep this guy in your head again?
You're muted, Bill. Your thing's up.
Better than letting him out.
Yeah, there
Apparently.
you go.
Hey, can you hear me?
But why did you let him in the first place?
Yes.
Not really a. It's like not really a choice, son. We kept him in there for a fucking reason. Jesus, how many times do we have to tell you people?
One of these
Where
days,
did he come from?
Yeah, one of these days I'd like to learn a bit more about the Cenobite.
Huh? You want to know? It's called pain and getting your rocks off because of it. Now this is gonna be a fucking fight. He says he's just like, you see this shit, and he's just like pointing things out, like what Dee was explaining. So he just goes over everything. Says, so unless we can find ourselves a way clear through, we're going to have to fight inch by bloody inch. Just takes a puff at the cigar again as the cat decides that this is time to get scratches.
Yep.
Sketches.
I'm trying to act, cat. No, anyway. Okay.
All right.
How far do we have to go? Like if we went through the labyrinth safely? Because we
Well, if you were to go through the trenches, you'd probably be there for a day or two. There's that much space. Yeah.
fuck.
You're gonna have to go straight forward. Plus, the other thing too is that fighting in trenches is also not necessarily going to be your guys' best strong suit. That's the reason why the trenches are there, because it vastly slows down your progress. It's clear.
I mean, technically, if we could fill them full of water and just freeze the fuckers, that'd be nice.
There's an idea.
Wait. Ivar, if you create water, now just bear with me, in your reality, near a trench, will that water only extend to your limit, or will it continue to exist beyond you?
Ivar's understanding, Dee, correct me if I'm wrong, I can only shift things within my bubble.
Ugh.
But things that are of reality that leave the bubble still exist as long as they're real. So, for example, Ivar was drinking earlier, and I really have to pee.
Yeah, be careful what kind of water he's gonna create.
Well, I mean, water's water. Don't be judging now. I know.
But
I
Have you
know-
ever
I know-
tried to freeze vodka? It doesn't work.
Yeah,
Ivar can amplify his water.
we could always light it on fire.
There's that too.
Ivar has the ability, I can just pee like normal, which is admittedly a lot.
We're
But-
gonna get the reverse of the napalm ass.
So you think now? Bear with me.
Of course, Dark
You
Knight's
can
in the corner, just or
flood.
like corner. He's like in the background, just going like,
Can you flood? Can't believe this is a strategy. All those trenches.
And then make a boat, and we can ride on it. And Riv just put that in there.
not that the idea doesn't have some modicum of merit. The problem is how much could you possibly expand the volume of water, and it would only go out max 200 yards if you were out in standard reality circumstances. That on top of it, because of all the trenches and how they intersect or don't intersect, you'd get like one row and then you'd have to try and do it again. It'd be extremely exhausting, not to mention leaving you vulnerable since you're just more or less fire
Literally
hydrating it.
with your pants down.
Well,
Yeah.
Ivar is sitting there. Ivar does have his bubble of reality distortion. He can make items grow or shrink. He's been known to use it from time to time, and
Oh, gross.
Yes.
for the ladies.
Can you make the trenches shrink?
Yeah, but it only has a certain degree of permanence. It has to be within that whole thing. Like it doesn't snap shut like some magic would, where you convert it and it just stays in that converted state.
Yeah.
It always rubber
Ivar-
bands back.
Yeah,
Have either of
Ivar's-
you ever seen a portable bridge?
There you go.
And then the general just looks at him like,
A collapsible 10-foot pole.
Ivar could possibly. I know we have to go into trenches and such, Though those are smart undead, they're still undead. They cannot come into the bubble. Their bullets can very much come inside a bubble.
You just see
Perhaps
General takes a
I
puff. Don't want to interrupt you, son, but those ain't undead. Those are Cenobites.
does my true faith work on them?
It does, so long as they try to approach you directly. But that's not the other flaw in the problem that the general would have observed.
If they shoot bullets and things at us, Ivar can just send the bullets back at them.
Yeah, and it hit them, and they'd be in pain, and then they're gonna get off on it, and it's gonna make them stronger, and then they're gonna come at us.
Gross.
But
So
if
now
they come
you
at
see the
us,
problem.
can they enter Ivar's bubble?
There is nearby, by the way, you guys are interrupted in this conversation by the sound of static. You actually realize that there's an old style radio that just kind of hung on one of the posts where all this barbed wire is. But you just hear this like...
Oh, excuse me. This is probably for us. And he just goes there and he just like plays with the dial a little bit
Yep.
until he can hear the inevitable voice.
You hear the "Hello, General" coming through that.
Ah, how you doing, you little pig fucker?
I'm doing just fine. I can see that your candor hasn't changed much.
Pig fucker.
Not for a snot-nosed little shit like you. So, how you doing, son?
I'm quite fantastic and enjoying the show, I might add. It's going to be interesting if I manage to actually get what I want. Specifically, since I can see so many more delightful appetites just waiting to be discovered. But that's for another day. I was actually more contacting you on a different note. I'm certain that you may have started to sense it by now.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Regardless of wherever this happens to go, either I get my family or you get what you have always wanted, which I'm not certain that you actually wanted. Mind if I speak to John?
Oh, what I've always wanted is my boot up your ass, but, we'll let, and then he just kind of twists back and says, all right, asshole. Fuck off. What do you want?
Careful who you're talking to. I don't think you'd normally treat yourself with such ire, would you? And besides, I have children nearby. You need to watch your language.
They're not children anymore, and you damn well know that.
Oh, she's quite the child, and rather impressive. A shining light of new invention and ingenuity. Anyway.
Gross.
This is a little bit of a gift for you, John. Despite all of the ire and everything else, all of the contempt that has been shown to me, I give you this gift, this one tiny little gift, a realization, if you will, that I will finally be able to satisfy my appetite. Like that, and just cuts out.
And this is why we don't let him out. What is, so I'm going to do a combat sense awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Just because red flags just went off in his head the moment that Sinclair's voice changed. Okay, where am I? Damn, I can never find that shit. Oh, there we go. 22.
Negative?
Negative.
That's good.
Okay, 24.
It's
so the
personal.
moment that voice comes off, he just goes, boom.
Well, there is definitely going to be a rather fast incursion coming your way, but there is something that you have not felt before in a very, very, very long time. Try to imagine it like realizing that you were one being at a time, and you start pushing back where you see the fragments at their farthest apart And then in your past, as you go digging into your mind, you see those fragments coming closer and closer and closer and closer together until they finally come together as one unit, one being. And then it hits across the point where you were, assimilated by these Cenobitic demonic entities, and you're coming across that way, and there is a pain that is involved that is separate but pronounced by comparison to all of the other tortures that you were having. And you're sitting there going like, it deals with something, and you're realizing there is something there, and you understand that's what he meant, but you can't pull the memory or the understanding completely yet.
Question.
Yes.
Can he turn human perception on himself?
In a sense, he could probably do that. He's basically analyzing another entity that was of himself, so yes. I'm going to go with that. So, I mean, it's one of those oddball what-if scenarios. Go for it.
I mean, he's still human in his own mind, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's nagging at it, and whereas before he had the I'm not going there, he's angry at Sinclair, and he just feels goaded into exploring.
Pinhead, you sexy bitch.
Okay, so that is...
No more games.
I still have never watched it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Dude, I love Hellraiser, man. Yeah.
1D19? Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Pinhead's stylization with like the grid on his head, that was a mistake. They couldn't fill it in. They just wanted the pins in there, but the grid made it look more intense, so they left it. Odd little bit of trivia.
38.
God damn.
He has a 34 human perception.
You realize somehow or another, though you don't understand its inner workings or the machinations yet, this and everything that Sinclair has ever done has been for revenge, and you don't know why yet. But this is his vengeance. That's what he meant by appetite. He will finally be able to satisfy his appetite. He's hoping that one way or another, that either, based on your assessment, that either he will cease to exist or you will.
Are the when he did his combat sense awareness, does it look like the lions are mobilizing to attack suddenly?
They're going to be coming in to rush as hard as they possibly can, because it looks like the fervor with which he spoke had a little bit of encouragement for those troops down below.
So the cult just kind of bells out, "Incoming!"
All right, let's roll this up here.
Does Ivar have time to throw up his defensive? God, I wonder what happened if he threw the bubble of reality distortion to actually shrink incoming things at us.
Make it little pea shooters.
Not even shrink it as far as he can.
Okay, let's go here. All right, we just need to rock out with our combat sense awareness rolls.
Violence.
Drew, you're gonna be last. So we got. All right, so we've got.
I love it. Positive role models. None present. Or not present. Positive message. Not present.
And I got a 9 on my dice, and I still am going to be next to last.
Oh.
I need to raise that combat awareness. I've been in enough combat. Next time I have IP to spend, I'm gonna have to boost that up.
Well,
Combat
so
sense.
it's reflex and intelligence, right? Yeah.
Reflex and intelligence, yeah. But also my rank in it is only 5, so I could rank it up.
Yeah, mine is 5, but I think I pushed my intelligence to a 7 just to get the synergy bonus.
My intelligence is 7 as well.
So
Reflex is 7.
Colt shouts out that you guys need to move. Okay. And you're up, Colt, because you managed to catch this on site, so you're first in line here.
Okay, how far are they right now?
They're approximately 70. Yeah, they're probably about 70 meters now. So
About how many?
you can't quite tell. There are several,
God damn it.
less than
Okay.
10, but
Less than 10.
more than 5.
It's not enumerable. Okay,
Not
that's good.
target-rich environment.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, not like last time, but they are cenobitic, so it's terrifying.
yeah.
So he's not going to use the ring of division.
Blunderbuster.
He's going to use his correspondence in Prime.
Okay.
Okay. So he's going to try to split into just 2 personalities.
Okay.
What's the target difficulty?
7.
And what's the threshold?
Well, 2.
2. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the rhythm of the system is starting to pull together so easily that you guys don't even have to ask much anymore.
Okay, so that's target 7. 1, explode 10. So I'm gonna pump I'm gonna pump a luck to get 2 degrees. Success.
Okay. That makes it.
Okay. So John just kind of just shakes for a second, like you hear him go incoming, shake, split, and then it's the bastard and Mr. Bigsby.
All right.
And essentially, when
2 of my favorites.
and we're gonna basically hold off. So we're gonna do basically counterattacks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna when they get in range, Bastard's gonna use his chains, and then Mr. Bigsby's gonna act against those that are in chains. And that's
Okay.
that's the prep tack.
All right. So more or less, you're gonna basically just hold until they come in too close.
Yep.
Are these Xenobites anything like the things from Rick and Morty? Those demons that get off on like social anxiety or whatever, or social autism?
No, these are demons of pain and technology specifically.
Okay.
AKA shadows.
Yeah, that's the reason why they exist. I just need to come up with like a different name, some other stuff, because as much as I love the guys and was completely enamored with the idea of Hellraisers back in the day, it's not gonna do well copyright. Gotta check something here. It's one of the few times I actually had to go searching through my stuff. Alright, so he's basically going to hold it out there. Dark Knight is going to remain close. I think what he'll do is he'll pass the torch over to... yeah, so Scott, basically you're up. Because these guys are taking up firing positions, and they are beginning to actually lay down some fire at you. So this is kind of your arena at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and remove some of them from the field. With my blunderbuster doing 3 shots per round, and I get 3 rounds.
Okay.
Or three shots per attack, and I get 3 attacks. So,
Yeah.
are there any that are closer, or stick out from the other, or are they just arraying themselves?
You're basically going to
Nice.
take a range penalty. They're kind of moving in and throughout the trenches and trying to stay at a certain distance. They're firing
Yeah.
weapons that are much more for like long rifle and stuff like that. You can still make your shots, but because of the fact that they are like not within close range, even for a slug, which basically doubles the range of the weapon itself for like accurate fire,
Yeah.
you're basically going to take a -3 to your shots because they're outside of that max range. But in your case, I doubt that's really going to have too much problem.
Well, I'm just looking. I'm like, I realize I don't have range on here for my attacks.
Right. Well, and that's because that's usually for like a shotgun in particular. You're dealing with like
Oh.
anywhere to 10 to 15 feet.
My plasma rifle is the only one that has range written down with. There's a range of 600, but I have no
Yeah.
ammo for that. So,
Right.
All right, so I'll take a 3 penalty. So 18 rifle. All right, so 24. So, first barrage of 3. And that's a crit.
Oh my.
Alright, so that last one's a big one.
A big boy.
So that's my first rate of fire of 3. So just kaboom, kaboom, kaboom.
Right.
Evaluate. What
Those-
impact does that do?
So, what was damage per round on that?
55. And then
Yeah.
the blessed sunflower slugs.
Yeah, it nullifies any of their natural armor because of the because it's going to be basically it's got an AP supernatural because of the holy or AP demonic. So they end up taking that hit at full damage. You see one lose its arm, from like the first couple of initial shots. Your crit, on the other hand, manages to blast one directly. It's full-on headshot. It was coming up out of the trench. You didn't have a chance to see really what was going on, but it looks like he was probably the radio guy because the pack that was fused to his back had spider-like legs that were actually moving him along in the trench and up and over. And when he went to go take those shots, you could see like the whole lower jaw here with the speaker that was embedded inside of his larynx. It's just shouting out orders, and then you just popped him, and there's this big white flame, and he just goes sinking back in there all quivering out of sight. But that slug totaled it.
Alright, so just remove the head. Sounds good. And I'm gonna go do another 3.
Yep.
I'm trying to, if I can kill, great, but I'll settle for disarm. I'm not gonna, focus on one over and over. If I can slow them down.
Yeah, you're basically picking targets as they get close and just keeping proximity on them so that they actually stay back. Yeah, that's the idea anyway.
Alright, and then the next 3... just all middling.
Doesn't
Well,
fucking
I
matter.
got that good crit, but the rest are all just middling.
That's fine. They rolled a 1. Like, I'm sitting there going like, defense! And it's like apparently they just want to die. I don't know. So your next shots definitely hit. They're not all kills, but they don't... The scary part about this is that your shots are doing the damage. They are creating a sort of, detrimental effect. I don't know if you know this, Bill, but you're all blurry. Your focus is off.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a cult.
Yeah.
It's the Ivar shield is.
You take one at the leg, one at the hip, and then you finally get another one as it's moving across the top part of it. You can see that it's actually going through the razor wire like it's a tunnel, and all of the shredding that it's undergoing causes it to shriek, cackle with some kind of weird, perverse kind of glee. And whenever you hit it across the upper shoulders, you can see the tear mark go across from the slug, and it's got that white flame. You can see that it actually writhes, but not in a way that would make you go, oh yeah, that hurt it, it's going to stop now. It actually goes clambering through that razor wire, causing more damage, and it just goes into the trench and starts doing this leap over thing as it's basically going to try and go for a flank. But I mean, you're doing the damage. The other two are not in visible sight. That last one just seems to be highly interested.
And as the bastard sees them crawling through and everyone's horrified reactions going, see, this is why we don't fucking let him out. I swear to God. And he says, basically, can you believe this shit? It's fucking Germany again. Fuck again.
Hey.
And if they get close to melee, I'm gonna
switch to reverse. Yeah. Noise.
Which are blessed.
Yep. Good shit right there. Some hand-to-hand melee combat.
And then Ivar with Michael's sword.
Yeah.
The Star Wars kid.
That poor kid. All right, Riv, you're up.
I thought, doesn't Bill go next?
Nope. He was holding
Well,
his
he's
action in
in,
case
but-
they get in there. It's not the enemy's turn yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
And I'm reloading.
Yep. Shunk, 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 shunk.
Wishing I had my rockets right now.
Oh, right.
I did kill a helicopter with them, though. That's
Yeah.
pretty
So, Riv is gonna activate one of her runes.
Yeah.
And just heave her right gauntlet and eat the Iron Golem.
Yeah! I always love it when that thing shows up.
good. We gotta, like,
he does
bless
the
your
hero
Iron
landing.
Golem.
Oh my god, a blessed Iron Golem.
That's great. But it's just gonna do that, and then she's gonna take her left hand and shoot out some bolts.
Launch away, mess. Launch away. I want to do one for the Iron Golem here. Oh my god, what's with the ones, guys? Seriously, I'm not trying to make this super easy, but apparently my dice are like, eh.
No, we know what it
Pain
means.
Also.
No. We know
Oh,
what it
you're-
means when your dice do this.
Yeah, it's a false. You're burning off the ones so that when we get to the big fight.
Alright, so.
It's gonna be Aethgar the Red Reaver again, all over again. It's what happened last time.
Somebody's gonna die.
God, if Barrett could travel back in time with who he is now, he would fuck those things up.
That is unmistakable.
Okay. There it goes. Oh shit! I got a crit.
That you did. Alright, so explode that D10 then. Or is it already... I think it already took care of that.
No, I didn't. I added the.
Oh,
I did it
gotcha.
Stupid. It was 4 plus 24, so it was 28, and then 26 or 16 plus 24, so 40.
40.
Right.
That was my attacks.
Okay, there you go. Either way, you're like, shoo, 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 like that. You let out these bolts. One misses. The other one manages to take a hit like towards the hip area, sending it off balance. Its strange oblong head and other sort of wiry type protrusions at the back here that connect to its like spinal column and hips. It goes landing out of sight. The final one, that with that crit, gets pummeled hard enough that it gets sent backwards and gets entangled in some of the razor wire. Despite whatever glee it might be kind of feeling or sensing at this point, it's completely entangled and can't manage to get itself out of there. What was the damage on that, by the way?
The damage right now looks like 64, and it's AP mundane.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a fair amount of damage. Yeah. So it got tangled up in that. It's not going anywhere. Your Iron Golem, you're like, shunk, you just hear it's like that as it goes out. It goes into the air, curls into a ball, hits really hard, blasts straight through a bunch of razor wire, and just goes stomping onto something. You hear like a like that on the other side. You can't see it, but it looks like it just lands on something, some target just out of view.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well,
Hero landed, of course.
well, yeah, it did the whole roll, run, jump into a trench, squish. Like, that was, yeah, it's basically pummeling something just out of view. Alright. As it is, you are basically prepared and ready, Sir Bill, because now the fucked up shit starts to happen.
Yay.
Ah.
Oh, that's right, because Mr. Ivar has to go last.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need you to make a few defensive rolls with what you intend to do with your powers, because it looks like they're going to start sending chains and wire your way. You can feel the tremor.
Okay. Let's see. Dodge or melee for parry. Yeah,
Right.
we're gonna go with dodge.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just parry the Stygian chain. It shouldn't be a problem.
Parry this, you filthy casual.
Filthy animal.
How many rolls?
You'll need 4.
Okay. 1. Oh yeah, we're gonna put some luck in that. What the? See? 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 Oh my god. Okay, 25, 26, and... Oh my god, I guess we're actually gonna spend more luck. I'm down to 4 luck.
Alright.
Is it... I'm lucky, so is it 1 or 2 for reroll?
It's 2 is for reroll if you're lucky.
Okay.
Boosting is 1
is
point.
to add 1, 2 is to roll and add.
Yep. Only if you're lucky, otherwise it's 2 and 3. Which is
Okay,
why
we'll
lucky
just
is amazing.
Right. Yeah, no, we're just gonna add.
You're just
So
gonna
that's
boost them.
be, yeah, 24, 24, 25, and 26.
Okay, so you managed to stave off some of the attacks, and they're much more broad spectrum than what you had anticipated originally, thinking that maybe you would be the target, but they all come lashing out towards everyone else. Let's see here. Everybody's still kind of trapped, or still inside of the bubble pretty much, so we don't have to worry about terrible lots going on, but one of the actual, like, strange things that seems to happen is that the bubble itself becomes entangled and wrapped by a massive attack of various chains that are coming from multiple of these demons at once, trying to basically get you guys compartmentalized where you can't move, which will be a problem because if there's any like live fire or mundane fire, your ability to shake, juke, dodge is extremely limited. You're pinned. But you can see that these things are growing like vines, and they're snapping and attacking like crazy. You can hear these high-pitched, like almost metallic resonance noises that are coming in with each and every one of the contacts from the hook and chains that are coming through. And you're basically holding some of these off, Bill, and one of them like snaps across and shatters some of the Stygian chain reverb that you've got going on as well. You can tell that they're basically flexing a little muscle as this is going on, because things are getting violent quick. Ivar, you're up, and then we are going to have to basically hold it until next week.
Freeze frame.
So, if I got this straight, Ivar's reality shift only works inside the bubble.
Yes. So far that you can tell.
And how many attacks are currently coming our way?
Well, you guys are utterly surrounded. There are multiple, and you're looking at 4 or 5 that are attacks that are ongoing at present.
Okay. And Ivar has the sword out. You just see Ivar like he's got the sword out, but he's like also wrestling around. You hear the jingles of the bottles, and out of his pocket, he pulls this antique-looking grenade that has a cross on top of it.
Hallelujah.
Oh my god.
And he kind of like is jumbling it around and gets it in his other hand with the sword, and he goes, "The directions are here somewhere." And he pulls out this like clay tablet, and all you see on it is it says the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch.
Oh my god.
Which Ivar has been saving. All we have on it for specs is a target 8. But what it actually does, Ivar doesn't even know.
Pull the cross off and throw.
Shink.
Not too far, for you have come too far.
Actually, whenever I think of the Holy Hand Grenade, I just
And
think of
breakfast
worms.
cereals and sloths. Yeah.
Worms the game had the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes it did.
Hallelujah! Boom.
Yeah, it was great.
And as Ivar's getting this thing ready to go, he's kind of like jostling around with it. He's looking over and he's like, "Which way do I throw it?"
Dark Knight's like, at the enemy, that way.
And I think this might
is
be
where-
a tactics roll. Ivar wants to know if he could actually teleport the grenade
Well,
to the
actually,
location with it.
if you even still, you could basically have Dark Knight very temporarily because your faith is sealed where it's at. You guys don't have to worry about it. You could literally have him be the delivery system where he just goes wink, wink, drop, and winks back.
And that will be what he does. Ivar's like, I think I could teleport this, and I will bounce it off and ricochet it. What do you think, Dark Knight?
And he's like, how about I just take it and drop it somewhere where it's going to do a lot of damage? Does that sound good? Like, he just kind of does this thing where he's like watching around as things are tightening up.
We can do that. And Ivar begins the mechanism to get it to arm the basically grenade. And so you see him turning it 4 times, no more than 4, and he turns it back. And he's like, it's almost like it's this whole clock mechanism of getting this grenade set. And we will be rolling to see what degrees. That's 10 degrees of success because that last one doesn't count.
Holy fuck.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I turned my head away for 1 second.
Holy.
I've always wanted a near perfect roll, and I think this is as close as we can get.
Christ, dude.
So you're like, chink, and you hear it go, boo, like it starts to come. He's like, okay, now's good, like he just takes it from your hand. Yeah. Hold
Can
on.
I generally presume that the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch is a one-time use weapon? Or
Yes.
is it something that Ivar gets to bring back multiple times?
No, it's definitely a one-use weapon for fucking sure, and I was not expecting that at all. I totally forgot about that little doodad, man. You're just pulling out all the stops from your
We were
weird-ass
talking
shoebox.
about it last week, and
I know.
I like chat with each other. I was like, "We need like a freaking holy hand grenade." He's like, "I've had one since like our 5th week."
So here is Ivar's weapons in order of that he got them. So the very first weapon he ever used was the Rabbits of Karaborg, followed by Cerebus.
Bits that
Yeah,
attack.
the Hound
Yeah.
of Hell. And keep in mind, those rabbits saved our asses when we were deathly destroyed. And then we were deep in Screwdom with the Outsiders, and I brought Cerebus, the Hound of Hell, which backfired on us, and we ended up in the bar before we ended up in Purgatory. While in Purgatory, I pulled out Archangel Gabriel's Imperium Sword. I also pulled out the Rope of Nothingness, and then I found I had the Hand Grenade of Antioch, but we never had to use it because we were trying to figure out how to get out of Purgatory, and it was armed to take on what the hell is his name that was destroying Purgatory, except we ended up going on a different rabbit hole.
I'm sorry for this. I'm so sorry.
This is censored because wow,
Oh my god.
wow,
Oh my god.
wow.
I was trying to look up something else, and that came up. Like, I kind of share. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Let me get this description out. All right. So, holy shit, that broke my brain. Okay, so he's like, that's good. Like he just takes it, and you see him go, whoop, like that. Everybody feels this strange pressure that tries to push onto you. You don't exactly see where Dark Knight winds up, but he pushes it out to the exact maximum that was going to be the most effective. There is this sudden, 1001, gone. 1002, 1003, 1004, he's back. By the 5th second, there is this fucking ear-piercing, absolutely horrifying sound. It's not a scream, it's definitely an explosion, but you're hearing fabric of the reality that you're in rip and tear as it happens. There's a flash that is not too far distant from where you are now, that is so damn bright that it is like a micro-nuclear weapon. It just goes off. There is only half a breath before you actually go like that, and the impact of the shockwave clamors against that faith wall, smashing into all of the chains. It clears that whole thing off like you're in sudden, sleet out of nowhere off a windshield. Just all that bud scat, just gone. It's just, you're just standing there, everyone's getting this tan. There is a pop in your ear, okay? After the rush of heat, air, enough to actually make everybody kind of almost lose their sense, their lungs might collapse a little bit, there is that burnt image in the retina of the eye and a crater where he dropped that off. But you can't see anything because of the sheer amount of dust and debris. The only thing you're going to have to watch out for now is the falling items like posts, razor wire, body parts, possibly. It's not really well known, but you're just standing there, everybody's doing that squint, and it's just and you know, it's just basically, I think I got, you can't hear anything after that, and it's just a big-ass bright light. And so, stunned awe is all you have.
Good way to end it. Then next week we can do dodgeball.
Right?
If you can dodge a wrench! Oh shit, hit that fan.
So, yeah. Well done.
Yikes.
We don't even have a chance to see what the after effects of that particular weapon is just yet. But, holy shit.
Yeah,
good
it's
way
called
to...
cancer.
Ivar pulled it out.
I've been trying to, while Ivar's holy hand grenading everything. Here's my take on a Cenobite.
Ooh, that ain't bad. That ain't bad at all.
Cool.
Based on what Hero Forge can do.
Right. Not bad at all.
It's not getting, it doesn't get into full fetish wear. So,
yeah, no, but...
Yeah,
that'll come around in its own time, a level of acceptance and tolerance.
Well, they do now allow under and overcoat situations, so that's why I was able to do the harness. And,
Jesus Christ.
little bolts.
This is starting to sound like this game is starting to wrap up together like some of my old ones from way back in the frackin' day, man. I haven't had that level of crazy occur in a while.
I would generally like to point everything you threw at it this week. I wasn't seeing how the hell we were getting out of it, and then bravo, Ken, with you. Why don't we just shoot and kill it?
Yeah.
And then the whole battle, I was trying to figure out what Ivar would do. I'm like, I got nothing. Ivar can be defensive, but I'll say, I haven't used the hand grenade yet.
Oh.
Last week, Scott and I were literally talking back and forth, we need the holy hand grenade Antioch. I'm like, I just don't know how to use it.
Yeah, well, you presented us with a situation.
Yeah, well, and I seem to be throwing just enough things at you that's making everybody jump a little bit nervously. They're like, oh shit, oh shit!
Yeah.
Well, next week's chapter is going to be boom.
Oh, bitch.
Yeah, that was impressive. I can't believe you got 10 successes, man. That's basically like a a quintuple crit. It's ridiculous.
It compounded.
Yeah. It's the only reason why. And because like all the rest of that, it's like the multiplier just keeps going bang, 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 bang. Like when's the last time I ever had a fucking 10 hit roll on anything? Like,
Yeah, but here's what has always baffled me. Like, Ivar's never gone that high. But Ivar, in clutch situations, somehow will roll these, like, magnificent...
That's
like,
true, he has.
when you need him, he can't really do shit. But when it's clutch, Ivar's like, I got this.
It's like Riv always rolling the
exact recipe of what's needed.
Ivar always pulls in the rolls. And I told you, I warned you guys, his dice start loving us, something bad's gonna happen.
That's true. Next week is gonna be.
He's
it's
gonna
like,
rinse them off, and then next week will be all crit back at us.
You know, to be fair, we've gone through the free. You know, most boss battles have 3 phases. We did the first phase. This is the second phase, and next week is when
The health
the
bar's
boss
gonna
music
switch
comes
to green.
in. Yeah, the health bar goes to green. The boss music starts up. It has Latin lyrics.
I've got a 100 voice
The,
choir. Set it for it. Yeah.
I love that meme where it's like the boss is really easy. He
There's
comes
lots
back
of
to
ammo
life.
around.
He has his own boss music. The boss music has lyrics.
Yeah.
The lyrics are in Latin. It's like in every progressive thing, it's like the person's face is like,
Performed by evidence. Well,
Oh.
like I like to think that we pretend in-game universe, Ivar had this true faith, right? This whole time that he's been like doing his true faith, he was rewarded.
Mm.
Like he's been charging up his faith battery.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, I was kind
And
of
that
figuring
God
that
was like, all right, I'll give you a
was
little
kind-
extra.
I was figuring, I like that. I was figuring the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch would just unleash, like if you have true faith, it wouldn't wipe you out. But then I had a thought afterwards. I'm like, oh my god, if that's the case, the poor Colt's gonna get destroyed.
Yeah. It's not
I mean,
gonna be altogether too distinguished between that and the enemy. Yeah. Nothing like taking a bunch of withering damage, especially at nuclear levels. That's good Christ.
Ivar comes out looking the same. He looks over at the Colt, and he's very, very badly burned.
Extra crispy.
Yeah. He should
Actually, you just have like Bigsby like fur like singed, and he's acting like an animal that's been like burnt. He's just like
I found it.
and Bastard's
Oh my
just
God.
looking at Ivar going, like, what's fucking wrong with you? Because he's completely sunburned.
That was the meme, by the way.
Yes.
The progressive.
Well done.
Like,
Well, what's gonna happen is like we're gonna like get to the root of it and like cure Sinclair, and then Colt will be like, "Oh, guys,
evil
I'm
now.
sorry. I've been acting like an ass the last couple of months, but
I am now the final boss.
you've cured my illness,
I feel like we should just give Sinclair a Snicker bar and see what happens.
right? Bring him to Olive Garden."
Were you here? You okay?
Oh my god. And that's what fucking fixes his ass? He's
Oh
just
my
in there
God.
cooking?
Hey, those breadsticks can fix anybody.
I agree.
I could almost see that's the
Breadsticks is
ending.
good.
We get to a house and we walk inside, and it's this
Oh my god, the
perfect
fucking
house.
family memes.
There's
God
there's
damn
dinner
it.
music going on. Sinclair's in there cooking dinner,
They're all my family.
and the seats are all set with our name tags on them, waiting
Fast
for
and
us to sit
Furious.
down.
47.
I was promised if he kept doing those crappy movies, we would get the movie we want. But I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
Oh, Pitch Black or Chronicles of Riddick 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Yep, we are.
On that note, I'm gonna let you guys go.
Yep.
Good night.
Hey, take care.
Take care.
Okay.
Thanks for the trauma flashbacks.
That's great. That was great. It made the
Oh.
night.
The
Take your
sound of
Dramamine
macaroni
before
and
bed.
Cheese. Just stirring
Yeah.
mac and cheese with the Jello jigglers from hell. Yeah.
And then remember, Vin Diesel says, you always have family.
Oh, yeah.